Yeah, shalom, everyone. Shalom. I want to welcome everyone to House of the Lost Sheep of Israel. I'm Elder Michael Johnson. I think I'm a little bit too hot. One second. Let me get this down a little bit to where we can get this a little bit more manageable. 1 second. But I do want to welcome everyone here. And today we have an interesting teaching we're going to be starting. And basically what I'm going to be doing is going through Sirach, going through the book of Sirach. And what we're going to be doing is taking this. We're going to go from the beginning to the end. But what I'm going to be doing is switching this off. Because what's going on is, just letting you guys know, it's a lot that we do over on this end. It's a lot that we try to make sure. But it's nothing on you guys' side to where we need to, or I need you to go through something. But the main thing is that we have also made a vow to God. And with this vow, we have to rain bread daily to each and every person that is here. And that's the vow we made to God. So that has nothing to do with you. This is a promise to where we have to feed you on a daily basis on what we do. So with that being said, a lot of stuff sometimes I have to teach more than what I should. But the main thing is I can't come with a complaint because that's the job I chose. So I do it, and I do it with gladness, and I don't mind. The thing is that we're going to make changes with King James Bible University based on the platform, on how we teach and who teaches on what days. Because right now, we have it set where you'll see on tomorrow the elders that be teaching at their board, and we'll see Elder Lynn, Elder Jenkins, myself, and we see also Deacon Sampson. Those days is concrete. We won't be changing those days, but we will be changing the other days that I teach on. But the Sabbath day I will always teach on. But what we're going to be doing is making sure that we have approved sites on what we're going to be doing. And what you'll see on King James Bible University side, you'll see where you're going to see approved sites that will we approve to where they're going to be under King James Bible University. Because what we have to do, we have to make sure that everybody is fed on a daily basis. And if everybody can see this, you should be able to agree with that, to where you should be fed daily, the same as what was going on in times before, to where you received your daily armor on a daily basis. It's the same thing as today. We can't change that because that's something that God ordered. So as I do and as I move forward, same as I always say, I don't sit there and I don't look at past tense on what's going on and what others might say or feel about what I do. But the main thing is I got to move forward to the Word of God no matter what I do, all the time, every day. So we'll be seeing changes. We're going to be seeing a lot of changes going on based on these teachings that will be moving forward. So just look for that, making sure you're looking at the channels, making sure you're seeing what's going on. You'll see the channels also on SharePoint. You'll see them on KJBU, as well as you'll see them on KJBU over on YouTube. And just to make sure that everybody will be up to date all the time. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through this biblical side. We're going to be looking at Sirach. And I want to make sure that everybody understands Sirach, and the same thing with the sisters that's doing the moderation in the Bible. What I'm going to end up doing is, because this video is going to be shut down later and is going to be moved over to the biblical framework side. But I do want to make sure that everybody have a pencil, paper, because we're going to go through some intricate parts of this. And I want to make sure everybody understand what is happening, one. And two, I want to make sure that people understand the language I'm going to be using, because if you're not really familiar with biblical law or you're really not understanding me based on the time that you might have been with me. I might start saying some things that you might not understand. But what I'm going to ask you, I'm going to be asking people, do you understand what I'm saying? If you sit there and tell the lie on yourself, then you're just telling the lie on yourself. Because if you say you understand it and you really didn't, then that's shame on you. It's not shame on me. But I do know a lot of people still going to do it just to say that they do understand it, even though they won't understand it. Because the book of Sirach is an extremely serious book. And we're going to find out some things. So I'm going to give you some background on him a little bit. But then we're going to go right into Sirach 1 and 1 to where we can get a better understanding on what we're going to be doing. Because I'm going to also explain wisdom, because wisdom never been explained. But I'm going to explain it to you today. I'm going to explain it, make sure everybody is well aware of what wisdom is and how it works. That's what I will be doing. So this is why I don't want none of the sisters to put in meanings and verses, because we're going to be going through quite a bit of information to make sure that everybody understands. And this is a class that we're going through. So the main thing is they in class just like everybody else, and I don't want them to miss out based on what need to go out. So the only one should be working. The only one should be working is me. Technically, I'm the only one working. So let's make sure that that's all fair and good. So just want to make sure everybody's good. I just want to get eyes so everybody good, because we getting ready to get this cranked up and get a better understanding on what's happening. So I just want to get eyes on letting everybody know that they're good on what we're getting ready to do and understand, because we getting ready to go through Sirach. And what we getting ready to do, we getting ready to get hot, heavy, and very serious on what's happening. So right now we're getting the eyes and going through here, getting the eyes going through. So we're going to get ready to get cranked up here. So understanding the book of Sirach, I want to make sure we understand something. You can also see it goes under Ecclesiasticus, not Ecclesiastes, but Ecclesiasticus. So the book of Sirach is also known as that. So it's a notable book, and you always see it's embedded inside the Apocrypha. So with that, you say that it was a tribute to this guy named JEHOVAH, but his name was Jesus also. That JEHOVAH and Jesus is the same word, just translated. But we have to attribute to this guy named Jesus, the son of Sirach. So his name was Jesus, but it's the son of Sirach, which most times you'll always see it referred to Ben Sarah. Ben Sarah, 2 words, Ben Sarah. So this text is give you a profound insight on the morality and the piety, serving as this compendium of this ethical teaching and practical advice based on this book. So I want to make sure everybody understand that. And then we can understand the authorship and the historical text from this. So we got to get into these and make sure we understand what is happening here. So as this book, it provides critical information. And some of this information you should write down, because this book contains critical information, but in regards to authorship and the compilation. But we have to understand that Jesus, the son of Sirach, who lived after the Israelites had returned from Babylon exile. They had returned from the Babylon exile for the period of following the era of most of the prophets, and the principal author, his grandfather also named Jesus. So it was a man renowned for his diligence, his wisdom, that was among the Hebrews. So we have to remember that this elder, Jesus, was not only compiled wise sayings from the predecessors, but they was also contributed to their own profound insight. So we understand that upon his death, he left an incomplete manuscript, which this is what we're going to be going through, which his grandson finished. So his son Sirach, he was passed on to his son Jesus, who's been Sarah. The younger Jesus compiled this complete book, and he named it Wisdom. He named this book Wisdom. This is what was happening. So as he named this book, as he was going through it, he was sitting there, he's associating everything with his forefathers and honoring their legacy, and inspired these readers to pursue wisdom. That was based on this book. So now we know the book of Sirach, the book of Sirach contains literary forms, including wise sayings, dark sentences, parables, and ancient godly stories of men who pleased God. And I'm going to say that again to where we can understand what was happening. It contained this literary form, including the wise sayings, dark sentences, parables, ancient godly stories of men who was really pleasing God. This include prayers, songs, and reflections. This includes prayers, songs, and reflections. So this reflection is the benefit that God bestowed upon his people, and then the plagues of his inflicted upon their enemies. So this diversity, the content mirrors the structure of other wisdom literature, aiming to guide and to instruct followers of JEHOVAH looking for righteous living. So as we understand this, the purpose and the importance of this and the primary purpose of Sirach writings was to preserve and transmit wisdom. I want you to make sure you write wisdom down, because we're going to get a lot of information on that today, because something I don't normally do, but I'm going to actually break that down, because we're going to be going through the book. So it's better that you fully understand what wisdom is. But it's ethical teachings in the future generations, particularly to those who really live according to the law. So the prelogue that you can see, it emphasizes the importance of learning wisdom. So if you go read it, he got part 1 and part 2 of this. And it really is the importance of learning, but it's diverted from the law and the prophets, how knowledge should be disseminated, is what it really gets into, both through spoken and written language. Because Sirach, he intended his work to benefit not only the Israelites, but also living in foreign lands when we was scattered throughout all the land. These are things we have to remember. So one of the most important challenges was Sirach was in his translators. He's translating. So like descendant of Ben Sirach, which we're going back into Jesus to get a better understanding, he had to acknowledge the difficulties in translating Paleo Hebrew into Greek text. That was his biggest challenge. Most people don't know that, but his biggest challenge was people will tell you that Greek is stronger than Hebrew. That's the biggest lie in the world. But he had to see it was the difficulties of translating Paleo Hebrew into Greek text in the original expressions, which loses some of their force through the spiritual understanding from the dark speeches and parables that was being translated, affecting the law, the prophets, and other sacred text writings. That's what was happening. This is why it's very important to always have a full Bible when we're looking at it, and you have one that is all Paleo Hebrew, if that's something that you understand and you read. That's why it was so understandable there, because you can lose some of its force when you do that, because you want to see it for what it is. And that's why when I personally study, I study with a full manuscript of that, because it's simpler for me to translate, to understand the parables, the dark sayings, and understanding what was going on, translating that's affected the law, the prophets, and other sacred texts. So when you see this, despite these challenges, the translator endeavors, they faithfully conveyed the teachings in the books of those who are unfamiliar. That's what you have in your hand now. That was translating these books that's unfamiliar with Paleo Hebrew, but ensuring wisdom contained within them is accessible to the broader audience. All I'm doing, as I said, as a vessel is what I'm capable of doing, to where I can translate these words and I can tell you what those words actually and how they function spiritually. That's what I'm capable of doing. And that's what you guys actually benefit from. That's what you guys glean from. So as you reading them, as it's no different than a Greek manuscript, which those are lesser, but even from the English is matched equally. And what I'm doing, I'm giving you the spiritual meanings behind it, which gives you the strength of Paleo Hebrew text. Everybody understand that? I want to make sure everybody with me on this and understanding where I'm coming from. This is why it's so important. As I always say, watch who you learn from. You watch exactly who you learn from. It's highly important. So, as I said, as everybody sit there as what they do through the manuscripts that was written. What you have to do is go through Paleo Hebrew, and then what you do, now you have an England translation. This England translation, you have these words, but what your benefit is where you have a Master Hebraist telling you the functionality of these words. So now when you see these words, you can understand them, and as you understand them, now you see how they function on the back end. So now, despite those challenges, now you have accessible to the broader understanding of what was required of you from the beginning. That's the beauty of this. So living in harmony with God's will is what these translators was for. This is why it helps us what we're doing. So living in harmony with God is what it encompasses, both personal conduct and interaction with others. So this principle is rooted in wisdom literature of this Bible. And it's very particular in the book of Sirach. Very particular in the book of Sirach, which offer profound insight in the natures of wisdom and practical living in every day. That's the purpose. So we have to understand this more deeply. And as we're going to start, and we're going to look into Sirach 1 through 4, and we're going to see how this ties into. But just like I said, I will break down wisdom for you to where we're going to understand what wisdom is. Because we have to know what wisdom is to make sure we understand what the Bible holds for each and every one of us. So let's look at some of this, and we're going to get some understanding. So make sure that you have your pencils and paper ready. I'm trying to keep it as slow as possible because through me talking to various ones, my wife and other people, some people still say, when I get on certain subjects, I start to talk more faster. But what I'm going to try to do is make sure I slow down. But that's, I just ask everybody to kind of overlook that sometime, because sometimes when you very well understanding of subject, or you well educated on a certain subject, you just can flow and just flow through and flow through and flow through, and you're not knowing that you're actually speaking faster than people can actually take notes. So I ask that each and every person, just bear with me, to where my wife, she's already noted if I go too fast, she will put it in there and slow down. And then I will look, and I normally notice, I check it, and if I see I need to slow down, I do slow down. But we're going to look at this in Sirach, chapter 1, verse 1. And it says, all wisdom coming from the Lord, all wisdom coming from the Creator, and is with him forever. Who can number the sand of the sea and drop of rain, the drops of rain in the days of eternity? Who can find out the height of heaven and the breadth of the earth, and the depth and in the deep, and wisdom? Wisdom have been created before all things, and understanding of prudence from everlasting. This is going to get into a lot of things. So we're going to understand what this said all together. Because Sirach is beginning where he's acknowledging all wisdom originates from JEHOVAH. All wisdom is coming from JEHOVAH. I want you to write that down, because all this is going to get very serious, and I promise you, if you don't write stuff down, I promise you, you're going to get mixed up. But this underscores the divine nature of wisdom, emphasizing the immeasurable, and infallible attributes. Immeasurable and infallible attributes are what we want to look at. So this is what we want to see. We want to understand it, and we want to see it for what it is. So as we go through this, wisdom is being created before all things. This highlight the fundamental role in the order of creation, even of human existence. So let's look at this and find out a couple of things here. As I said right up here, as he's saying right up here, let me get this back down. All wisdom comes from the Lord. You see right here, all wisdom comes from the Lord. But when we pour this, we see in Psalms, write it down, Psalms 147 verse 5, we're going to see these immeasurable attributes. And you see them here. These immeasurable attributes, you see it here. It says, great is our Lord and of great power. His understanding is infinite. This immeasurable. Immeasurable. You have to keep that thought there. Immeasurable. So this citation, it highlights the immeasurability of God's understanding, which is described as infinite. Everybody see that? It's described as infinite. This underscores the boundless nature of God's wisdom and power. So we know now it's infinite. It's immeasurable. Let's look at something. In Isaiah chapter 40, we're going to look at verse 28, and it's already highlighted. It's saying, "Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God," you see this, the everlasting God, the Lord, you see all capitalized, the Spirit of God, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching in his understanding. Why? Because it's immeasurable. This understanding goes beyond human searching or measured. His infinite nature now is reflected in his everlasting strength and wisdom. This is how this is going into. This is why it's so important on what we're getting into. Let's look at something, then we're going to find something actually in Romans. Let's look at Romans chapter 11. And we're going to go to verse 33. And we see it here. It says, "In the depths of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God, how unsearchable, R is not there, how unsearchable his judgment, his doctrine and teachings, and his ways past finding out." You see how this gets. These are immeasurable attributes. This depth of wisdom and knowledge is unsearchable beyond human comprehension. This verse actually emphasizes his immeasurable attributes. So this is why when people want to sit there and tell you about immeasurable attributes and they don't know them, you can actually share these verses with them and show that he have immeasurable. Nobody can figure this out. His understanding is infinite. Psalms 147, his understanding is infinite. That's crazy. But we also said it's unfathomable. It's unfathomable. We have to remember what that is. So I said he also had infathomable attributes. We have to look at those also. Let's look at something over here in Job. Because we proving the point. We want to prove the point on what we actually pushing. In Job chapter 11, we're going to look at something in chapter 7. We're going to take it to verse 9. It says, "Canst thou by searching find out God?" You see, it's a question mark. "Canst thou by searching find out God? Canst thou find out the Almighty unto perfection? It is as high as the heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell canst thou know? The measure thereof is longer than earth and broader than the sea." When you look at it, that's unfathomable. This describes the unfathomable nature of God's attributes, comparing them to the heights of heaven and the depths of hell, stating that they go beyond the earth and beyond the sea with. That don't make common sense to nobody. It shouldn't, because you can't even measure it. Let's look at some more here. Let's grab some more here. In Psalms, we're going to look at 145. In Psalm 145, looking at verse 3, tells us, "Great is the Lord, great is the Spirit of God, great be praise, and his greatness is unsearchable." His greatness is unsearchable. You see, this is unfathomable. His greatness of Jehovah is unsearchable, meaning you cannot ever fully understand or comprehend by our human minds to understand God. This speaks unfathomable nature of greatness. This the unfathomable nature of God. Even in Ephesians, looking at chapter 3, verse 8, show you something, and we're going to grab pieces in everywhere wherever it runs us, that's where we got to go. And we got to look at 3:8, and we're going to see this. And you'll see how he's running this here. It says, unto me whom I'm less than the least of all saints, is this grace given that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ? The unsearchable riches of Christ? This unsearchable riches it reflects the unfathomable attributes of wisdom and grace and glory, which is beyond human understanding. Everybody follow that. So we seen the unfathomable we had these two here. In this immeasurable, these two attributes of him is immeasurable, it is unfathomable. This, I'm telling you this. So when people are sitting there saying they know God, they telling you not the truth. When they say they know God, they telling you not the truth. So we need to do one thing. We need to define wisdom as a whole. We need to define wisdom as a whole. And as we define wisdom as a whole, we got to see how this also works in the law. So we need to define wisdom. This is where it's going to get serious, and why I said what people need to carry. So we want to read something. I want to make sure we have something up there. We're going to look at Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22. But I want to show you something that's really going to be profound, because we're going to read this down. But I want to show you something, that the eternal and the pre-existent wisdom as depicted as an eternal existence in the creation of the earth and all the components, this pre-existence signifies wisdom is not a product of creation. I'm going to say this again. Wisdom is not a product of creation, but it's the fundamental aspect of JEHOVAH nature. Everybody understand that? Because just like I said, I'm going to be saying some things that I want to make sure everybody get what I'm saying. Some people might not tell the truth, and I understand, and later on they didn't understand none of it. Because I'm telling you, because I'm not going to be understand, well, I understood it. Then later on I didn't understand. Can you tell me about this? And what people really need to understand is two things. When you say you understand it, and then guess what? I also know when you ask certain type of questions that you didn't understand what I was saying before. I'm very notorious if people ever listen to me. I'm real notorious to where I can say something today that I was getting ready to talk about something 3 months from now. I'm very good at doing that. This would need to be happening. So the same as I'm saying, so wisdom is depicted as eternal. So it's before creation in this earth components as it is. So this pre-existent, it signifies as wisdom is not the product. It's not the product of creation, but it's the fundamental aspect. It's the fundamental aspect of JEHOVAH's nature. It's the fundamental aspect. Just put that there. And then I'm going to start clarifying it for you. I promise you that. I'm going to start clarifying it for you. So we got to remember, wisdom is the fundamental aspect of JEHOVAH's nature. Just write that down. I promise you, I'm gonna start clarifying it for you. Because we have a lot of no's up there, and I can't push forward and you don't know what's happening. So I want to tell you key things to write down, and just put wisdom is the fundamental aspect of JEHOVAH's nature. Just put that there. But what we already know, it's not the product of creation. Don't write that. Don't write that down. Don't note that. All you want to know is the fundamental aspect of JEHOVAH's nature. That's what I want you to write. So we got to see this personification of the divine insight. This is why I'm saying I'm going to be saying some things that you might not get, but I promise you, stay with me, and I promise you understand where I'm coming from. So we're going to look at something over here in Proverbs chapter 8, looking at verse 22. And it's going to say something. We're going to take this all the way down to verse 31. It says, in the Lord, see this cow capitalized, and the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way. Now, what we got to remember is the Lord possessed me. So wisdom is saying something about the Lord. Okay, don't worry. We're going to work all that out, because we know the Lord is the Spirit of God. It's the Word of God. But this is saying the Lord possessed me. The Spirit of God possessed me. So this is speaking like another thing. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out what all this is. He said, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there was no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest parts of the dust of the world, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. He's talking about what the Spirit of God did. So we got to see, this is what wisdom is saying, what the Spirit of God did. But don't worry, we're going to work all that out. Don't worry about that. And then it says, he established the clouds above, when to strengthen the fountains of the depth, when he gave to the sea his decree, then that the waters should not pass his commandments. He appointed the fountains of the earth. When I was by him, as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the inhabitable parts of his earth. My delight were with the sons of men. So again, all this is saying is, but just like I said, I promise you, you're going to understand exactly what was said. All this what was said, because we have to understand that there. So we got to go through this. We got to pick through it. But I want to make sure you clearly understand what wisdom is, because just like I said, it's fundamental that we understand this, because the only way we can go through Sirach is what Sirach said over there. All wisdom comes from the Creator. All wisdom comes from the Creator, not from the Lord, from the Creator. Keep that in mind. So we know we're talking about two things. We're talking about the Creator and we're talking about His Word. We're talking about the Creator, we're talking about Christ. We're talking about the Creator, we're talking about JEHOVAH. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we go through. So this is going to help us understand that speaking by JEHOVAH from the beginning, this personification helps us to understand wisdom is not just an abstract, but as a living, dynamic force intimately connected with God. Keep that in mind. Keep these things in mind as we move down, because this is the essential to creation. The reason why, because we have to look at the role of wisdom. Wisdom role in creation is fundamental. Okay? Wisdom role is creation's fundamental. So this is present and active in the information of the universe or the world. It was the guiding process with the divine knowledge and understanding. So this understanding that all aspects of creation are imbued with wisdom, reflecting the divine order and the purpose of God. Everybody get that? If you don't understand it, just say you don't understand it. But I'm gonna move forward, because this is what I'm saying. Because we want to make sure we understand exactly what wisdom is. We're going to understand exactly what wisdom is. So we got to understand that wisdom is creation. This foundation. We're looking at foundational understanding. Foundational. So this understanding of all aspects of creation are embodied with wisdom. All creations are embodied. All creation is embodied. So all creations of God has wisdom in it. All creations of God has wisdom in it. Everything God created has wisdom in it. Do everybody understand that? So all this has wisdom in it. Everything God created, it has wisdom in there, is what he's saying. Good. Okay, so I just want to make sure. I might have to say it around another way to where you'll get what you say. Oh, I get more yeses now. Okay, I'm good. I just want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from, to where we can be all on one page. So that's why I say I want to see to where if I need to say something around about another way to where we can understand it, that's what we're going to do. So we understand how wisdom is this essential part, reflecting something. So understanding this aspect of creation is embodied wisdom, but it's reflecting the God's order and also reflecting His purpose. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of yeses, which is good, because we need to understand wisdom works in the law. We got to understand wisdom works in the law. This is foundational of law. Foundational of law, meaning this. The law is given to people. The law is given to people of God, is rooted in divine wisdom. So he gives us the law and then is rooted in divine wisdom. So the law that he gives it is rooted in wisdom. So it embodies the principles, justice, righteousness, the order, this fundamental to Jehovah's creation. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So once he gives us this law is rooted in divine wisdom. So it's in there. So it's embodied in this word. It has the principles of justice. It has the principles of righteousness. It has the order and the fundamentals of Jehovah's creation. So as we took on this word, and this word has taken on us, not as though the word of God has taken none effect. They are not all Israel, because once that word has come in you, it has the justice, it has the righteousness, the order, the fundamental of Jehovah's creation. Everybody follow that. I want to make sure everybody with me. Because we want to understand what wisdom is. And I'm pretty sure this never been explained. I can pretty much guarantee never been explained. But we want to understand what it means, what it is. In this Care Williams, we don't need your comments. We don't need no comments. Either yes or no is good. I don't need this. I don't need you giving me comments. So we just need to make sure either yes or no. I don't need comments. So we just want to understand what's going on. Meaning this, because we have a couple of no's. Meaning wisdom this. Meaning when he give us his word, that word, and you took in that word, it's like an aspirin. It's like an aspirin when you have a headache. And you take on that aspirin, and then within that aspirin, it releases itself, and it rooted into to relieving all the pain within your body, because it's understanding the justice, the righteousness, and the order, the fundamental that was in there to what to relieve the pain for. So it's the same thing with the word. Once you ingest this word, it has in there, just like the pill, it has in there, this word has the justice, the righteousness, and the order, the fundamentals of the creation from Jehovah. That's what it's saying. So this wisdom is guided the creation. It also guides the precepts. It guides the statutes. It guides the ordinances that's found in the law. That's what wisdom is. But we're gonna get more. This is foundation of law. We just looking at foundation of law right now. So same thing, like if you took a pill, everybody took a Jehovah pill. Let's look at it that way. If everybody took a Jehovah pill, as soon as you took that Jehovah pill, it has the principles of justice, righteousness of Jehovah, which guides your precepts, your statutes, your ordinances that's found in the law. Everybody understand that part? Because I'm saying the same thing. I'm just saying it about another way. Just want to make sure everybody get it. So if you took that Jehovah pill, that pill has all that embedded. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, everybody, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's move forward with this. So we're looking at the guidance and instructions. So wisdom operates. So wisdom operates within the law by providing guidance and instructions. Actually, I want to put something up real quick. Let's put something up real quick to help us out. We're going to look at something in Proverbs 6:23. We're going to go to 6:23. Help us out some. And it's telling you right here, this is going to help us. He just roll with me. He rolling with me. And then just as he leads me, we roll with it. As he leads me, we roll with it. So the same thing here. It tells us right here in Proverbs 6:23. I want you to make sure you mark this. It says, for the commandments is a lamp. For the commandments. So the law is a lamp. Just like that. So the commandments is the pill. And it's the lamp. And the law is the light. And the reproof and instructions are the way of life. You see, I'm talking about this clear as day. This wisdom illuminates the path of righteousness, helping individuals to live according to Jehovah's commandments. It's all right there in a nutshell. All right in a nutshell. This helps us out a great deal. This helps us out a great deal. This helps us out a great deal. But the main thing is he runs us to many things to help us. Let me run one more. We're gonna look at Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 6. We're actually gonna grab 6 and 7. And let's look at it. It's highlighted. It says, "For the Lord," so we know the Spirit of God giveth wisdom. So now we know the Spirit of God giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding, something that we spoke about at the beginning. Out of his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them who walk uprightly. Everything we were just talking about. Everything we literally just said. He cleared it right there. Everything I said, which I should have kept my mouth shut and just ran to the verse. When it came to me, I should have just ran to the verse, but me talking, and then it's already there. So, happens, but we roll with it. Happens, we roll with it. So this underscores that everything that wisdom is a gift. So we know wisdom is a gift from Jehovah. It helps believers to comprehend and apply the law in their lives. So with this moral and ethical framework, we know wisdom provides a moral and ethical framework within the law to operate. So it helps us to interpret the commandments in the ways to promote justice, to promote mercy and humility. It ensures that the application, what things we start doing of the law, aligns with the character and the will of Jehovah. So once you took in on that pill, you're going to be doing the will of Jehovah. Everybody understand that? So once you have taken on that pill, you can say it emboldened all those good things. Now you start applying it in your life because now it started working. That's what's happening. So we're looking at the Spirit of God in action with this wisdom as the Spirit of God. So wisdom is the Spirit of God. It works through the law to transform lives. So wisdom as the Spirit of God works through the law to transform our lives. That's what it's doing. 1 second. Excuse me. So as this wisdom is working through our lives, it transforms our lives. It convicts us. It instructs us. It empowers each individual to live in a manner that is pleasing now to Jehovah. This transforms the aspects of wisdom, and it highlights. Actually, we're going to tell you what. Run it somewhere. Let's run somewhere. Let's go somewhere. Let's look at James chapter 3, believe 17. 3:17. We're going to hit. Yeah, right there. Clear as day. And we'll see it here. It says, but the wisdom is the form above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits and good works, without partiality and without hypocrisy. So it's not trying to show you something to fake it. It's not trying to show you something to fake it. That's the whole beauty of this. So I just want to make sure that everybody is with this and understanding what's going on now. Everybody should be with this and understanding what is happening. So as we sit there and we see how this is going, we should be able to understand how this is actually working. So looking at this in a better way is the wisdom. We want to see wisdom as the Spirit of God. Wisdom as the Spirit of God. Wisdom as comparing the Spirit of God. So we want to look at something. We're going to go over here, back over here. We remember Proverbs 8:22 through 31. Okay, so just look at the beginning. Just look at the beginning. We're going to grab that one, but we're going to remember the rest. We're going to remember the rest. It said, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before the works of old. He possessed me in the beginning of his way before the works of old. So we want to understand what that is saying. So I want to show you something now. Let me see. We're going to go here real quick. And what I want you to do is see something different. 1 second. I want to move something here. And if I can move this. Okay. So now we're going to get some better understanding. So understanding it. So the Lord, remember the Spirit of God, being the Spirit of God and wisdom from the Father. Wisdom being the Spirit of God, and this wisdom is from the Father. So we need to understand how the Lord JEHOVAH, both Spirit and Spirit of God, and the wisdom from the Father, is essential to where we can develop into the nature of God's omniscience of this. So this relationship is between his spoken word and the wisdom of God. So this involves recognizing this seamless integration. We have to recognize this seamless integration. And if we don't, we're gonna lose ourselves. So let's look at something. The Spirit of God or JEHOVAH, put that there, Spirit of God or JEHOVAH, is described, one, as moving upon the face of the waters. I want to show you this here. So we're going to look at this. So we're going to pull piece by piece. We're going to see something. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The earth was without form, boom, and void, boom, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. 3, in the Spirit of God, you see that there. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So now you see what's going on. So this passage now is being established that this activity of the Spirit of God, JEHOVAH, at the very inception of creation, that the Spirit movement signified that the application of this divine order of this just chaos in this formless void. It's telling you right there. It was void without form. It's right there. Without form, void. So this chaos, this water, which tells you without knowledge or understanding, is brought into order by the Spirit, illustrating its divine wisdom structure of creation. Everybody understand that? Because that's why he moved upon the face of the waters. Wisdom as the essential attribute in what it's showing you. See, wisdom is depicted in this eternally present with God, essentially with this his nature in action. This is evident in the way by wisdom is personified in the scriptures. So when you sit there and you see this here, and the Lord possessed me at the beginning of the way I was set up from everlasting, this is why it gets into that. And it goes all the way down to 31, because it explains here that wisdom speaks about being possessed by JEHOVAH. Wisdom is being possessed, is taken by JEHOVAH, and it's the very being before creation of the earth. So this personifies that the wisdom is a companion of God, highlights its essential role in creative work. So wisdom present ensures that every act of creation is infused with divine intelligence and purpose. That's what it's doing. It's showing you that it's infused, everything that it does is infused with divine intelligence and purpose. So the Father, meaning the Creator, the Father fully understands before his Spirit moves, JEHOVAH. So the Father knows before his spirits move. This letting you know JEHOVAH to speak creation into existence. It speaks on how this profound understanding is intentionally behind each spoken word. Each spoken word that the Father's understanding and wisdom to fully realize and integrate it in his commands, ensuring that the Spirit movement aligns perfectly with his divine will. Actually, I'm going to take you somewhere. I'm going to show you something. Actually, I'm going to put you somewhere, because this actually going to run you right to Psalms 33. Psalms 33 and verse 6 is going to run you right here. It'll run you right there. And let me highlight this. It'll tell you by the word, My thing stopped. Let me put it up there. 1 second. In 33:6, it says, by the word, ignore it. It says, by the word of the Lord were the heavens made, in all the host of them by the birth of his mouth. So you see how that happened. This is what's going on here. This is what's happening here. So we see how this is working. This verse illustrates the power of God's spoken word in creation, which is executed through the Spirit in the breath of his mouth in the word of the Lord. You see, the word of the Lord encapsulate the divine wisdom and understanding, ensuring that creation unfolds according to his precise intentions. It unfolds to his precise intentions, because wisdom in the law, the same as divine wisdom in the creation, it's embedded in the law that's given to all humanity. Commandments, statutes reflect Jehovah's understanding what is good, just, and righteous. It's automatic. In fact, you can even go here. I'll show you something. We're going to look at something. Deuteronomy chapter 4. We're going to look at 5. And you'll see this here. You'll see this here. It says, remember, I have taught you statutes. Remember, we talked about that already. In judgment, doctrines, and teaching, even as comparing the Spirit of my God commanded me that ye shall do in the land whatsoever, whether you go to possess it. Keep therefore for that reason and do them, for it is your wisdom. It is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which ye shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding people. Telling you right up front. So you see this here, that the law was given by God in the expression of his wisdom. It provides guidance on how to live in harmony with his will, reflecting his understanding of what leads to righteous and just society. It's right in front of you, literally right in front of you. Therefore, endue them. This is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. I'm telling you exactly what's going on, because we have to remember wisdom as the Spirit of God. It embodies wisdom, making it guiding force in our lives of those who follow the Christ, Jews. So wisdom is not only for understanding creation, but it's also for living according to the divine precepts. Actually, let's look at something. Because it's running us all over it. And we'll look at this Isaiah chapter 11, looking at verse 2. And watch this. Watch what it says. It's clear as day. In the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and fear of the Lord. Yes, all that. This describes the Spirit of the Lord is encompassing wisdom and understanding, further solidifies the connection between the Spirit of God and divine wisdom. So JEHOVAH, the Lord, the Spirit of God, and the wisdom from the Father signifies all of God's actions, particularly in creation. When we look at this and it's underpinned, the divine wisdom of the Father's understanding is fully recognized when his spoken word, ensuring the movement, the Spirit aligns with the divine will and purpose, is integration of wisdom with the very nature of God's command, and the actions highlight this profound relationship between JEHOVAH's wisdom and the execution of his will. So both creation and the law, this wisdom guide the followers of Christ, the Jews, to understanding living in accordance to JEHOVAH's commandments, reflecting the divine order of righteousness. It's automatic. So when we look at this and you see this, the Lord or the Spirit of God, now we understand the term Lord in context. When we understand this, particularly it's written with all capital letters, it's always going to refer to Jehovah or the Spirit of God. This distinction is vital to understanding the various manifestation roles of God as depicted in Scripture. So when we see this in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, darkness was without, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The Spirit of God, that's Jehovah. That's Jehovah. This profound statement, you can see it underscores the omnipresence, this dynamic activity of the Spirit of God. Better yet, Jehovah is the very exception of creation. The Spirit of God transcends the earliest chaos of earth, infused with the divine order of vitality. So when you look at the terms water, you see, and it moved upon the face of the waters, saying it represents this vast expanse of knowledge and understanding, which was initially a state of disorder, without form or void. It was in a state of disorder. It's telling you that. It was void and without form. It was a state of disorder. I'm talking about, you see it, it's right in front of you. It's right in front of you. So Jehovah, through his Spirit from God, it's this formless potential. It instructed and give life reality, thereby demonstrating his sovereign power to bring forth wisdom, understanding from chaos. Actually, let me show you something. And let's see something here. Wisdom of Solomon. Because we're trying to understand wisdom. We need to understand wisdom. And it's telling you right here. In Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, looking at verse 7, it said, the Spirit of the Lord, the Creator, filleth the world. Yeah, that's what he did. And that which containeth all things, have knowledge of the voice. I've been saying that the entire time. The entire time, this is what I've been saying. Nothing no different, same thing every time. His creation, everything, he has his word in his creation. That's why if you're not doing what God has in his word, you're none of his. This is why he says this. If you're not doing the orders of God, you're none of his. The Spirit of the Lord he's showing you the process, this comprehensive process, that knowledge that highlights the divine nature of Jehovah. So wisdom only going to come from the Father. Only going to come from the Father. So wisdom often it personifies as this feminine figure in Scripture. It's portrayed as a source from God, being essential to the act of creation. This wisdom is both seen as this personification in the attributes of God. So indicating his understanding in purposeful design. Everybody with me? Everybody with me? We should be getting some clear understanding here. We should be getting some pretty good understanding here. Let's see something. Everybody okay? Everybody all right? I just want to make sure, is everybody okay? All right, 319. We're looking at 319 and 320. So 319, 320, it says, the Spirit of God by wisdom have founded the earth. By understanding has established the heavens. You see how clear that is? It's clear. All day long it's clear. So this explicitly states that Jehovah used wisdom. Jehovah used wisdom. It's telling you right there. He used wisdom. Jehovah used the wisdom that was embodied inside of it to establish the heavens. So wisdom was in the word, and it what it was that established the heavens and the earth. By wisdom have founded the earth. By the Spirit of God, wisdom that was embodied in it, like that pure that was in us, same thing. And by understanding, he established the heavens. Same thing. Tell us the same thing. So this highlights that the Lord Jehovah employs wisdom, understanding, knowledge is essential element in the intricate design in the formation of the world. So by wisdom have founded the earth is telling us that every aspect of the earth creation was orchestrated with divine intelligence and purpose. All of it. All of it. Every inch, every sneaky inch of this had a divine purpose. By understanding, has established the heavens. I'm telling you, understanding, he established the heavens. This tells us that the heavens were not only created, but also meticulously ordered to sustain throughout divine comprehension. So this understanding extends to the depths where it's broken up. The depths where it's broken up. It's right there, symbolizing the release and the arrangement operating within the waters, and the clouds drops the dew, illustrating the provision and to maintain the maintenance of life-sustaining moisture. So the word of God, JEHOVAH, the word of God, JEHOVAH, inherently contains this wisdom. From the very act of speaking creation into existence, his words were embodied with wisdom that governs natural order. I'm telling you, you can look at it any kind of way you want to. His existence, JEHOVAH, the word, were embodied with wisdom that governed the natural order. So as seen in Genesis, let's go back over there real quick. And seen in Genesis, let there be. You see right here in verse 3, let there be is not merely a command, but it conveys the divine wisdom and structure, the organization of creation. The presence of wisdom, the word of God, it underscores every utterance from JEHOVAH infused with the purposeful, life-giving wisdom, and it transforms chaos into the world and establishes order and sustains all creation. I'm telling you, this is wild, but this is wisdom at work. And we'll look at one more. Let me see. Wisdom 9. We're gonna look at wisdom 9 and 9. And it says, and wisdom was with thee. See, wisdom was with him when thou knowest thy works. It was present when thou made the world. So wisdom, the Lord possessed it. You see what's going on now. So the Lord, the Spirit of God, wisdom was in it. So when he spoke it, wisdom is like a bubble. So say when the Most High God, when Yahweh spoke, it had a bubble, and it was the Spirit of God, the bubble. But within the bubble was wisdom. Within the bubble was wisdom of God. And it's telling, it says, wisdom was with thee. Who was it with? It was with the Lord, which knoweth thy works. So everything that the Lord took, it was already came from God. It was inside the Spirit of God, which knoweth the works, and present when thou madest the world, and knoweth that it was that was acceptable in thy sight, and was right in thy commandments. So it already knew what was going on. So when the word came, it already knows what to do, because the wisdom is embedded in it. I'm telling you, that's freaky. It's just like you can write a letter, and your letter got the wisdom in it. But our letters just got letters. But he's telling you he has got this wisdom in it. That's freaky. That's freaky crazy. But he's telling you it's there. You see it right there. The Lord possessed me. What did he possess? Wisdom. It was in there. It was in there. That's freaky. I'm telling you, I don't know what else to call it. That is crazy. Let's grab some more, because this vividly illustrates that wisdom is not passive or a passive attribute, but it's a dynamic force that is accompanied and guided JEHOVAH during the act of creation. So, as it's telling you, wisdom was with thee. It's telling you that wisdom was with thee. You see it right there. Wisdom was with thee. It's telling you this. This is telling you the coexistent with JEHOVAH. It's telling you the Lord possessed me. You see it right there. The Lord possessed me. Who? Wisdom was with it. I'm telling you, this is freaky. When God spoke in his word, wisdom was embedded inside the word. That's freaky. That's letting you know God is not something to play with. That's technically all that's telling you. He is not one to be played with. This is really exhibiting the inseparable and the eternal partnership. Wisdom is portrayed as having an intimate knowledge of God's work. So wisdom have this intimate knowledge of God's work. In JEHOVAH, the word is coming, indicating the awareness and understanding of the divine plan and its purpose from the beginning. So this awareness includes knowing what was acceptable. You see right here, what was acceptable in thy sight. Wisdom already know, yeah, he's cool with that. Yeah, okay, JEHOVAH, do it that way. He's cool with that. Pointing to the depths of comprehension, the intentions preferred, the standards of righteousness established by JEHOVAH. So the phrase was present when thou madest the world. That was present. You see right there, it was present when thou madest the world. You see it right here. Was present. Actually, I want to sit there. This is why I say this is a trippy verse. You see right here, it's right there. It says, and was present when thou madest the world. This is freaky stuff. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to call it. That phrase, it tells us that wisdom was the active role of the creative process. It underscores that every aspect of creation was infused of divine wisdom, ensuring that the world was crafted with precision, harmony in its purpose. So this presence of wisdom during creation also highlights the intentionality of the order that is inherent to the world, reflecting the wisdom of its creator. I'm telling you, this don't even make common sense, but that's God. That's God. That's when you're dealing with God, that's what you're dealing with. And you see how wisdom, tell you, it said, and to know what was acceptable in thy sight, in the right in thy commandments. And right in thy commandments. I'm talking about this shows you the wisdom is aligned with the moral ethical framework established by JEHOVAH that came from Yahweh. So it tells us that wisdom inherently tied the understanding and the upholding the commandments which express God's will in his character. This alignment with the divine commandments further illustrate wisdom role in guiding humanity to live harmony with God's will. Crazy. I don't get it. Hey, this essence of wisdom as depicted as the foundational element of creation. Wisdom is depicted as the foundational element of creation, present with JEHOVAH from the beginning, guiding the creative process, ensuring that the universe, the world, reflect the divine order and righteousness. So this portrayed of wisdom highlights this integral role of the divine order and significance, understanding the following of JEHOVAH commandments. Crazy. This is crazy. So when we look at this, we understand a lot more. From the present, from the beginning, understanding that wisdom, presence from the beginning, signified its eternal inherent existence, that JEHOVAH before anything else was formed, wisdom was there. It tells you that. I was set up from everlasting, or ever there was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. I'm telling you, wisdom was there. Here I am. I'm right here. Here I am. Where wisdom speaks of the beginning, established the everlasting earth created. So, guiding the creative process, wisdom is not merely a passive observer. It's not a passive observer, but it was an active guide in the creative process. So this guidance ensures that every element of creation is crafted with purpose, precision. That's why we go back here. Let's go back here and let's look at something. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 3. Go back over here to chapter 3. We're going to look at 19 and 20 again. By wisdom he hath founded the earth. By understanding he established the heaven. That's why we have to look at that. That's why we look at that. We see how wisdom portrayed the underlying principle that brings order out of chaos, shaping the world in the intelligence of care. So when we reflect in the divine order and righteousness, the world created through wisdom inherently reflects the order of righteousness is creator in the God of Israel. So this becomes evident of the harmonious in the purposeful design of nature within this world, of this natural now world that we see today. I'm telling you, which mirrors the moral and ethical order that prescribed by JEHOVAH. We the ones that taking it out of order. We the ones that screws it up. So it tells you back here when we look at Solomon 9:9, it tells you, says, and wisdom was with thee, which knoweth thy work, and was present with thou madest the world, and thou knewest what was acceptable in thy sight and right in thy commandments. And we sit there and we then took it all out of order. That's something each and every one of us need to think about. We have taken that what's in that word, we've taken that word and we've taken it out and made it out of order. We've taken that out of order. So wisdom, as this divine order, means it is essential for understanding and living according to Jehovah's commandments. So this embodiment of divine knowledge, understanding, wisdom provides the insight necessary to navigate the complexities of life in accordance with God's will. So it's through wisdom that one can discern what is right and what is pleasing to JEHOVAH, leading to life that upholds the commandments that reflects his righteousness. That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important. So when we look at the significance of following JEHOVAH commandments, by grounding creation in wisdom, JEHOVAH establishes a framework for his humanity to follow. All his followers of Christ. Wisdom is depicted in the scriptures is the guiding light that reveals the path of righteousness and obedience of God's laws. Did we even know that? Let me see. Proverbs, looking at 9, and we're going to look at verse 10. The fear being the desire of the Lord, the Spirit of God is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge by the holy, knowledge of the separated is understanding. Yeah. This is how it goes. This is how it rolls down. This is how this rolls. We got to remember, knowledge is holy, it's separated. So this underscores the idea that true wisdom begins with reverence for JEHOVAH. It fulfills the adhering to his commandments, understanding that wisdom is the foundational element of creation. It's the foundational element of creation. It underscores the essential role of being in order. So the purpose of righteousness in this world, and through wisdom, JEHOVAH crafted the world. Crafted the world that reflects his divine nature and provides humanity the insight and guidance needed to live in harmony with his will. And I can tell you right now, you can go anywhere else in the world. I promise you, nobody will ever break down wisdom for you. Ever. This is not a brag, this is a fact. not a brag, a fact. Why? Because they can't explain it. Reason why? They don't know Paleo Hebrew. Why? Because they sit there, they're going to lie to you, tell you everything contrary to what's being said. And you've seen all verses. Wisdom is a central attribute to God, as it depicted in Proverbs 8:22-31. Wisdom is existing from the very beginning. It's before creation, the term that's posed, that bring forth, it requires telling you the same thing that wisdom was with JEHOVAH, the inception of his creative works. Actually, let's go down to 27. I want to show you something. 27 to verse 30. It says, when he prepared the heaven, I was there. When he set and compassed the face of the depths, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave sea its degree, that the water should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the fountains of the earth. Watch what he says. Then I was by him as one brought up with him. That's a serious statement. Wisdom was there. Wisdom always shows its constant companion to JEHOVAH during creation. It was played a vital role in presence. So understanding that, we got to get it. He possessed me in the beginning of his way. He tells you that in verse 22. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way. He was possessing wisdom from Yahweh, the complete embodiment of wisdom, making the fundamental nature of his action. This alignment, scriptural, and same thing. We see the references of all that was there. We seen all that was there. Even when you want to look at, actually, I want to tell you what. Let me show you something. Let's go to Job. I want to go to Job real quick. We're going to look at Job 28:12. He says, but where shall wisdom be found? You tell me. Where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. The depths in the depths saith, it is not in me. Yes, you telling the truth right there. And in the sea, it is not with me. Yeah, that's true. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither silver can be weighed for the price thereof. It cannot be valued with gold of ochre, and the precious onyx, sapphire, gold, crystal cannot equal it. In exchange of it shall not be for jewels or fine gold. No mention that's made of coral or of pearls, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. In topaz, Ethiopia shall not be equal to it, neither shall be valued with pure gold, which then cometh wisdom, where there is a place of understanding, seeing that it is hid from the understanding of all living, and keepeth close to the fowls of the air. Destruction and death say, we have heard the fame. You done heard the fame of wisdom. Interesting. And where our ears, and God understandeth the way thereof, he knoweth the place thereof, for he looketh at the ends of the earth, he seeth under the whole heaven, he maketh the weight of the winds, he weigheth the waters by measure, and when he made a degree for the rain, and a way was for lightning and not thunder, then did he see and declared it, and he prepared it, yea, he searched it out. But watch this last part. And unto man, unto us, unto man and woman, M-A-N, he said, remember, the desire of the Creator, you see right there, that's the Creator, that is wisdom. Boom. Boom. That's wisdom. That's straight wisdom. We got to understand what wisdom all is. Boom. Straight up front. So we got to see this emphasizing that God and what he's all about. Let's see something. We're going to go to Colossians 2 and 3. Colossians 2 and 3. It says, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Yeah. So this talking about Christ, who all treasure of wisdom, knowledge are hidden, leaking wisdom of JEHOVAH with the persons of Christ. With the persons of Christ. So understanding one thing. Proverbs 8:22. It tells you, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way. Who? Wisdom. Wisdom reveals always the integral part of JEHOVAH's nature, presenting him as the exception of creation. So the Spirit of God, JEHOVAH, and wisdom is inseparable. Is inseparable. The understanding aligns with the broader narrative that we've seen right here. All wisdom comes from the Creator. That's Sirach 1:1. Sirach 1:1. All wisdom comes from the Creator. And it is with him forever. All of it. All of it. So we have to remember this. Don't ever forget it. And hopefully that each and every person never forget what wisdom is. Never forget what wisdom is and how it works. So with that, we know together on what's going on here. So this, all wisdom comes from the Lord and him on what's happening. When we looked at Sirach chapter 1:4, now we understand all wisdom comes from the Lord, with him forever. Who can number the sands of the sea or the drops of rain, the days of eternity? Who can find out the heights of heaven in the breadth of the earth? The depths of wisdom have been created before all things. So together these scriptures that I showed you, it illuminates the eternal foundational rule of wisdom, the divine order established by JEHOVAH. So this tells us that wisdom is not only a critical component of creation, but it's the guiding force for the followers of Christ. Understanding that living according to JEHOVAH's commandments is inseparable to nature, to live according to it and be separated from God. So we have to understand what's going on. We have to know exactly how this works. And if we don't understand it, I'll tell you what, my friend, you're going to be truly lost. So with that, we want to make sure this is one of the first ones that we have. I just want to make sure that each and every person understood it. And I'm going to wait for a minute. I want to make sure that each and every person understood it. You can put eyes or nose, eyes or nose, eyes or nose. And we're going to see. So I'm just waiting to see what we have. Eyes or nose, eyes or nose. So everybody understand it. Please make sure you understand it, because I'm going to tell you, when I go deeper into this and I see all eyes, there's no reason for me to circle back. That's the name of the game. That's why it's so many people that we don't get. So I'll tell you what, I got one. So let me make one. Let me do a Zoom for Sister Shantae. And we're gonna do a Zoom for you. Give me 1 minute. We're gonna do a Zoom for you real quick. And give me 1 minute. Let me shoot that over to Sister Venus real quick. And give me 1 minute. Let me shoot that to Sister Venus. And then I can also post it over there, but Sister Venus can put it in the chat. So if you can post that for me, Sister Venus, I really, really appreciate it. I need So what we will do, we're going to deal with that, and let me put it over here in the other place. So Sister Shantae, give me 1 minute, because I'm going to put it in one more place. And you should also see it in the comment section. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open that up to where we can go over there and we can check that out and see what your hang up is, to where we can, hopefully we can get that worked out for you. So give me 1 minute as we go down through this and get a better understanding on how this works out. So what I'm finna do right now, hopefully, and tomorrow we have the elders table on tomorrow, and as I said, we have a lot of changes going, so make sure you guys look at the King James Bible homepage and see what changes is all coming, so keep your eyes out on that. So we will be going through that, making sure, because we have a lot of things that we're going through, we're making sure everything is looking a certain way. So I'm going to say right now to many others that we're going to end this here. But I say until next time, to each and every one, until we meet again. Meaning we're going to meet in the back on this, but then I say until then, I say to each and every person, Shalom.